Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, how often do we take time to remember the dead? I'm not talking about at Halloween, where we dress up like dead things, or funerals where we watch our loved ones be buried in the ground, or I'm not talking about futurology, but pausing once a year to honor and commemorate those who've gone before us. Out of 10 federal holidays each year, there's but one that asks us to reflect on the dead. Specifically asks us to reflect on those servicemen and women who've died during the year. Memorial Day is held on the last Monday in every May. It's specifically held on a Monday and not a specific day of the month to give us one of those coveted 3-day weekends where we get to barbecue and drink some beer and hang out with family and friends. And that stuff's great. But I think for most people, that's all Memorial Day's become. It's just a time for that. I'm convinced that if we will but pause and remember those who have gone before us, we can bring their spirits and memory to life for just one more day, and we will be better for it. Ceremony is all but gone in the U.S. these days. Now, if you care to partake in a ceremony that's slow, deliberate, quiet, we have to sit and listen. Now, when's the last time you attended a funeral and thought, man, that was a great time? It just doesn't happen. Even churches are shortening the lengths of their service times in order to accommodate our attention deficit. But there's a place I know of where traditions rarely change, and they're part of the institutional fabric. That institution is my alma mater, Texas A&M University. A sacred tradition is held there every year in College Station and around the world. On April 21st, students, faculty, and alumni of Texas A&M University and their friends gather together in over 300 locations around the world to commemorate fellow Aggies who died during the year. The tradition, now called Aggie Muster, dates back to April 21st, 1903, when Aggies gathered together to celebrate Texas independence on the anniversary of the Battle of San Jacinto. The early meetings encouraged Aggies to answer a roll call, or encouraged the alumni to answer a roll call, and it was a way of remembering the dead and showing that their spirit lives on. Aggies are still urged today. If there's an A&M man within 100 miles of you, you are expected to get together, eat a little, and live over the days you spent at the Texas A&M University. Now this sounds more like what we do at Memorial Day. Each muster around the world involves a ceremony involving songs, poems, and even some yelling. But the centerpiece of the night is the roll call for the absent. As each name is read from a list, fellow Aggies answer with a resounding "here" and come forward to light a candle. The candle is a visual representation that that person's spirit lives on and is with us that night. We have a poem that reads, "Softly call the muster, let comrade answer here. Their spirits hover round us as if to bring us cheer. Mark them present in our hearts, we'll meet again someday. There is no death but life eternal for our old friends such as they." This year I organized the Aggie Muster at Monterey, and 40 of my friends, fellow Aggies, joined me in the tower room at Herman Hall to eat, drink, and reminisce about past times. Most importantly though, we remembered those who had died over the past year with a roll call. This muster I remembered Sergeant Graham Woody, class of 2008, which is my class here, who died early April when his vehicle rolled over in a training exercise. As I called his name off the roll call, the list, one of my other classmates answered "here," and instantly my mind flooded with images of time spent around a bonfire and marching in formation to the beat of a drum and those hot September football games. Everyone in the room felt camaraderie that day, and we felt connected with those who were so recently taken from our presence. Just as Aggie Muster makes us feel a connection to the hundreds of thousands of Aggies past, so too does Memorial Day make us feel connected with those men and women who've gone before us. It is as if we are bringing them back to the future, if only to spend one more day in our midst. Memorial Day doesn't have to be a time just to remember those who died in service to our country. You can use it to remember anyone that was close to you that passed recently, and I hope you will. Who have you lost this past year? How will you remember them this Memorial Day? Will you bring their memory back to the future for one more day? Softly call to muster, let comrade answer here. Now I'm Toastmaster.